straightforward. We had to come from behind, but we took our chances in the end, and Unai Emery's finally got one on the board.
Yeah, that's what we all wanted. We all wanted 3 points today. It hasn't been the easiest game, that kind of expected, but at the end we've managed to get the result. And yeah, I feel West Ham will probably feel hard done by because they've had good chances and they had good spell of the game where they didn't score, unfortunately for them. But yeah, good for us.
Jeremy, enjoyed your company today. We will work again soon, I'm sure.
Much.
I will let you disappear, so take the headphones off, and we'll get Jeremy in the studio, and we'll get Jeremy to take one or two of your calls of your emails and tweets and Facebook messages. We're going to grab Rob Kelly in just a second, our match reporter for today, to get his thoughts on the fixture and the 3-1 success as well. And it was difficult to a certain extent, I thought, Rob, against West Ham. I had some good periods of play and I was quite impressed with West Ham, but I don't know if this is winning ugly, but it's a win, and that's what Unai Emery certainly wanted.
I think at this point of the season, really, with no wins from 2 games, you just wanted a win, no matter how it came. It wasn't our most fluent performance. First half especially, there was a lot of unforced errors, a lot of giving the ball away. But second half, I thought we were improved. West Ham still, as you say, posed a big threat. I mean, it could just as easily finish 2-2 today. Had 2 good chances towards the end there, but you just want to win to get yourself up and running. We've got that now. I think Unai Emery will be really pleased with the impact off the bench today. You saw Alex Lacazette played a big part of the second goal. Danny Welbeck got the third. Torreira looked neat and tidy, and he came on as well. So I think it was he would have been pleased with certain elements of the game, not all of it though. Do
you see progress? Is it difficult to try and look at games against Man City and Chelsea, then suddenly we're praising a game against West Ham because it's a different animal, or are we seeing sides where, yeah, just these little things are clicking here and there on the pitch?
I'm not sure. I think it's quite early to say about whether you can talk about progress after 3 games. I think 3 months into the season we might be able to start seeing progress. It's, you know, a lot of these players worked under Arsene Wenger for a long time. It's going to take a while to get used to the Unai Emery's methods. I think the most obvious thing is the playing out from the back. You can see that there's a commitment to that. You know, we scored, I think it was for our first goal. Nacho Monreal goes 16 passes in the build-up to that one. He had 19 passes for Alex Iwobi's goal at Chelsea the other day. So there's a clear development of building out from the back, which is encouraging to see. Elsewhere, I'm not too sure, but you know, today wasn't our finest performance, but you know, there are enough signs, I think, to suggest that it's encouraging anyway.
Yeah, and everyone I speak to, speaking to Jeremy yourself, and spoke to Chris a couple of weekends ago, and look, it is different, isn't it? Because even little things like substitutions, half-time substitutions coming a little bit earlier, and like almost things that fans are suggesting. We got an awful lot of tweets at half-time saying, look, you know, Lacazette's got to come on here, and we showed the half-time graphic, the heat map about everything coming down the right, nothing on the left. Suddenly we got a Aubameyang on the left. Iwobi had a good game against Chelsea in periods, but today, you know, maybe wasn't quite at it, and he's quite happy to change it sooner rather than later.
I think that's great to say. I mean, it's very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, you know, you could pretty much guarantee it'd be a 70th minute substitute unless someone was injured, really, or something had gone drastically wrong under Arsene Wenger. I don't know, it was going to be very different. You know, we saw it last week. Granit Xhaka came off at half-time. Lucas Torreira came on. This time Lacazette coming on. I mean, Guendouzi came off in the 56th minute as well. You know, he will change things. If he doesn't like what he's seeing, he's prepared to just strike, and that's it. He's making that change.
Rob, many thanks. Speaking of changing things, we're going to get back down to our Matchday studio to join Nick, Dan and Jeremy for more reaction to the first win of Unai Emery's reign here at Arsenal.
And a win at last. Yes, 3 points on the board for Arsenal. A great win in the end as well. 3-1. Jeremy's back in the studio with us here. Dan Carter as well. Just reaction off the back of that. I'll ask you, Jeremy, first. You've just come straight down from the commentary box. Immediate reaction, immediate thoughts.
Well, obviously delighted with the 3 points. That was what we all wanted today. I also wanted today. I will say I expected an easier game, you know, seeing West Ham's first 2 games, Liverpool losing 4-0 and didn't play well at all. I thought we'll have an easy game today, which I was quite impressed with West Ham. They came, they've tried. they went up 1-0, and first half they could have been up more. So at the end, happy with the result, but could have been better.
So those are Jeremy's thoughts. Dan, what about you?
Yeah, I think I would agree with Jeremy in terms of I thought it would have been an easier game for us today. But West Ham, they look quite good. I don't think they'll have any troubles getting points later on in the season. But no, I'm just so happy that we managed to get our first win.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that West Ham upped their game today. I saw a lot of Hammers fans on Twitter and stuff. A few of them, my friends, in fact, tweeting, saying it's the best that they've seen them play so far this season.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think so too. You know, like I said, I've watched them against Liverpool, which they were terrible, playing really high. Just got caught so many times in the back of the defence, and felt like they didn't play as a team at all. Today, I've seen a organised team, knew what they were doing, and I expected them to play, just there to defend, try to get a counter-attack there and there, but they did. Kept the ball well and tried to play attracting football and push on from the full-backs on the left and on the right-hand side. So I was really impressed with West Ham today.
OK, well, we've been putting the conversation to you, as always. You drive this Arsenal Nation live. Quite a few of you getting involved and having your say on the Facebook comments. We can see some of what you're saying now. Hello to Will, who says, the moment Torreira came on, we looked so much more dangerous. What are your thoughts on that, Dan? Lucas Torreira stepping onto the pitch.
Yeah, I think we've been waiting quite a while to actually see him play. Obviously, a lot of fans want to see him start from the beginning. But I think when he came on, he changed the game. He did change the game for us.
Yeah, I mean, he came on for Matteo Guendouzi, who had a bit of a trickier game today, it's fair to say, than the last two games where he's looked really, really good. But Torreira was a calming influence when he came on the pitch, wasn't he, Jeremy?
Yeah, he was. I guess it's always hard when you start a game and when you come on, you're fresh. The team depends how the game goes, but at the time when he came on, Arsenal were kind of taking control of the game, so he helped them, help them to control even more and to open play for Bellerin to keep going up and down, and that's where the goals came after from Torreira's control in the middle.
And I feel like we're seeing a trend now as well of holding midfielders just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I mean, he's a really short guy, and it's a physical position to play in, isn't it? But, as I mentioned when we were off air to Dan, she rightfully shot me down and said, well, you got N'Golo Kante, who's playing for Chelsea, short guy, and he plays that position really, really well.
I guess high is it's not everything, and them guys prove it. So. Can only just admire them, and I think it's all about the character and the aggressivity. You go into challenges, doesn't really matter how big you are, but them guys are obviously proving, that they can be physical and not the biggest.
It was nice to see Danny Welbeck get on the score sheet as well in the game. He's had a tough season last season, had a few injuries as well, and to get that first goal of the season as strikers, how important is that?
Yeah, massively important for his confidence. Hopefully, like this week now in training, he'll have a bit more confidence going into next week's game, and who knows if he can get a starting shirt.
And it's nice to score at the end of the game sometimes. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice to score a pivotal goal, but at the end of the game when it's kind of, it's all a bit sleepy. It even looked at it, the West Ham back line looked like, oh, well, the game's over in 5 minutes or whatever. He just took it and then popped it in,
Yeah, it's always hard to be on the bench and come on for only a few minutes because you just think, I haven't got a lot of time to score, and you always, as a striker, you always want to score. That's your main focus. So yeah, it'll be buzzing all week, like you said. He'll be so happy that he only had a few minutes on the pitch but managed to score. So definitely get confidence from it and see him next game.
Well, let's have a look and see what else you're talking about on the Arsenal Facebook page. We can see here, hello to Vignesh, who says, Lacazette was he provided the required spark. Do you think that's a fair comment, a good comment, Dan?
Yeah, I think when he came on, he actually led the line well. He was winning balls in the air and flicking balls on. So I think, he did. He changed the game as well when he came on. I think all of the substitutions we made today really influenced the game.
He held it up really well as well, didn't he, Jeremy?
And that's another thing. He's not the tallest either, but he can hold the ball up there against the strongest defender. And that's where the goal comes from. He's managed to put his body between the ball and the defender in the 6-yard box. And obviously it will be an own goal, but it's all the work that he's done that created the goal. So yeah, he's for me, he's a top player. And as a pure holding striker to link up to, he's the best at the club for me. Yeah.
Do you think he's maybe pushed the case now to get a start in place in the team? Both of you, question for both you can jump in on.
Yeah, I'll say so. I think a lot of people was unsure as to why he wasn't playing, but I think after today's performance, hopefully he's really staked his claim and given Emery something to really think about.
I think it's another thing that's fair to say that I've noticed over Unai Emery's reign is he loves a half-time substitution. This is something that's quite rare as Arsenal fans to see, because Arsene Wenger very rarely did it. But we can see hello to Mateus, who says another half-time substitution from Emery as Lacazette comes on for Iwobi. Certainly not afraid to change things early. Where do you guys? Oh, we've got another one here actually from Tricky, who says Emery makes a good change again. Torreira replaces Matteo Guendouzi. In terms of half-time substitutions, I'm guessing as players, if you're the player that gets hooked, you kind of hate it because, you think, what have I done wrong? Or, was I not playing well? But if something's not going well tactically as a team, do you feel like this is a necessary thing to do?
Yeah, like you said, if you're the player that's having to be sacrificed and get taken off at half-time, obviously it's not something that you want to do, but if it's for the greater good of the team, then you just got to accept it really and just believe and trust in your manager.
Something I'm seeing a lot of on social media, and I'll just get both of your opinion on this. This is throughout the week. A lot of people saying Unai Emery is still figuring out potentially, who he wants to start in the team. His favourite formation, things like that. But also, a lot of people are saying that there's no kind of seniority in the team. You don't know who's going to get subbed just because somebody might be someone who's played for Arsenal for a long time or potentially the best player. If they're not playing well, they get substituted.
Yeah, and that's what he's been doing. That's how he is. I've seen him at Paris in the previous season, and he was the same. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be Neymar or whoever at Paris. He was doing the same. So, but I think if he's got a good relationship with his player, he will go and talk to them and say, "Listen, and personal. It's not, but the way we were playing, I just felt that this guy will do a better job at that position. And then." It's never personal. It's always for the good of the team. And like Dan said, the substitution all were a good one today because they all give something different and all made the performance better. So.
Well, speaking of these substitutions, one that we've already touched on, Alex Lacazette came on. He really made a difference to the side, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think he just brings something a little different to Pierre Aubameyang in central position. So I think he's more an out-and-out striker, can hold up the ball a lot better than Pierre as well. So it was just that little bit of different quality that he brought in that position. But they did link up well together.
Well, the Arsenal Nation out there having their say on it. Jeremiah saying, I love everything about Lacazette's game. He needs to be on the field so much more. We can also see this one here from Classy Gunners, who says Lacazette changed the game. You can tell there's a good connection between him and Aubameyang too. Exactly what you just said, Dan. And as forward players on the pitch, that is very important. In the same way that defenders, they need to centre backs especially need to have that kind of chemistry between the left and the right. Up front, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, the more they play together, the more chemistry they're gonna have on the pitch. They might be good friends off the pitch, but ultimately, it's how they perform together on the pitch.
Lucas Torreira, let's switch our attention back to him because as soon as he came on the pitch, the ship was steadied. I mean, we can see here, Oz Gunner says, Torreira is always in the right place at the right time, reads the play like a book, neat and tidy passer too. Yeah, I think I saw in that second half when he came on, there were quite a few passes that he played from deep, and I thought, we got a player on our hands here.
Yeah, I feel he's not trying to do too much as well. He knows exactly what he's good at and what's his game, and he does it, like them comment was saying, he reads the game perfectly. He's always at the right position at the right time. And as soon as he gets it, just give it. A bit like you were saying about Conte at Chelsea. As It's the same. They're just players. They know their position. They don't try to do too much. They just do it perfectly and show it again today. Yeah. So we hope to see more.
Do you like the look of him so far, Dan?
Yeah, I do. Just emphasising what Jeremy said. He's just neat and tidy. He doesn't overcomplicate things. He just gets the job done. Very simple and effective.
OK, well, we're going to pause there and get the thoughts of Hector Bellerin straight after the full-time whistle.
First win of the season. Is relief the overriding emotion right now?
I wouldn't describe it as relief. You know, we've been working hard now for almost 2 months. So we knew it was just a question of time. We had two tough games to start after loads of changes at the club. So we knew it was a question of time, a question of, scoring the chances that we had. And today was the kind of day. We still could have been even more efficient, but, even though we started, underneath in the score, we turned it around and very happy with the reaction of the team as well.
I know it was only 3 games into the season, but was there a lot of pressure starting to build to get that first win?
As I'm saying, it was not about pressure. It was just, as I say, a question of time. We knew we were playing at home with our crowd. It was a tough team. They've had a very good summer window. They signed loads of top players. So even though they still were, getting used to each other as well, we knew it was going to be tough. And I think the score doesn't show how hard it was on the pitch, but as I said, it was just a question of time because the whole team has been working really hard and really well.
A couple of assists for you today. Are you starting to feel really comfortable in the new system?
At the end of the day, it's football, right? It's what we've always been playing. There's always a few adjustments here and there that we need to make in order to play the style that the coach wants to play. But of course, we've been playing with each other for a long time. So even though the system changes, at the end of the day, we're the same players, so we understand each other, and that helps, But it's all about the work of the team. We've been working really hard this week. We knew what we had to do in order to score goals, and that's what we all did together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Hector Bellerin there, saying all the right things. And, I just wanted to get both of your opinion on, firstly, his game today, but also, the fact that he's a young player still, we forget that. But he does face quite a lot of criticism from the online community. Do you think he had a good game today?
I think he had a good game, yeah. The thing with Bellerin, and that's what people going to need to kind of realise, is you can't have it all with fullback. You can't have somebody that's going to be up and down, assist crossing the ball and be at the back defending at the same time. The guy's not a machine. So that's what depends what people want. Do you want a fullback that is going to give you crosses after crosses and obviously sometimes not be able to cover as a right back, and that's where you want your central midfield to be able to go and cover for him? Or do you want him to just stay at the back and then just do his defensive job? It's all, bit of a question, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It kind of depends on the games, but I think he had a very good game today and 2 assists. So.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that actually, Dan, 2 assists. Is he in your fantasy team?
I know, he would have been, definitely. I didn't get time to change it. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, I made the error of not putting him in. What a mistake. Right, before we go, I need to get a one-word sign-off from you both. So basically, a word in your mind that sums up today's game. Thankfully, we won, because, this could go terribly bad if we didn't win. So I'm going to start ladies first. So Danielle Carter, you first.
Win.
Win. There you go. Jeremy Aladi.
Efficient.
Efficient.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice.
Well, listen, thank you both very much for joining us on Arsenal Nation Live. I'm sure we'll see you both again in the not-too-distant future. Recover from that injury well,
yes.
Get back out there for Arsenal ladies, and I'm sure Jeremy will be back on commentary very soon, in fact.
Hopefully, yeah.
Right, that's all from us here on Arsenal Nation Live. We'll be back next week on Sunday for the Cardiff game. We'll see you then. Take care.